to the republic for which it stands,
one nation, under God,
indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all.
Guns, self-defense, concealed carry. This is the Patriot Defense Podcast. From the war room in Idaho's high desert, here's your host, Todd Echols.
It is Monday morning, and I am back, and I am going to bring to you today, this is new for 2025, and I've talked about it, but just you guys haven't had the first episode yet. But today is the very first episode of the training series. Now, this episode, just like today's Monday, will come out every single Monday till I run out of topics. But as far as the training series is concerned, and training with a firearm, there's plenty of topics, and I think it's going to carry on for quite a while. Now, just to let you understand kind of what we got going on here, as we talk about the training series, today I'm going to kind of talk about what to expect and thoughts and like the training philosophy. But I'm also going to get through I don't have my list here in front of me, but every episode that we do of the training series is not necessarily going to be long. Might be 15, 20 minutes, right? Just short and sweet and to the point. And again, if you want to listen to it, great. If it's not for you, just carry on. Again, the reason why I separated all these podcasts out was so, they would appeal to a lot more people, and I didn't have to, on the main podcast, I didn't have to bore those who just didn't want to hear this stuff again, because I've talked about it a lot. But I wanted to, have a place for people who are new to shooting, were new to learning, have a place kind of for them to come. Now, as I get further into the training series, we're going to start off, we're going to talk about this training philosophy today. We're going to talk about the grip the next week and the basic fundamentals, and then we're going to talk about drills. We're going to talk about what to expect, how to do mag changes, how to move and shoot, that kind of stuff. We're going to talk about that. So it might actually appeal to some of the other people that have moved beyond the fundamentals. But then again, everyone needs the fundamentals. And a good reminder is not a bad thing. So today, like I've said about 3 times now, we are going to talk about training philosophy and the mindset when you go into this. When you go in to train, and you go to learn something new, right? It's good to have an open mind. Now, I know there's a lot of people who have been shooting firearms for a long time. Their dad showed them how to shoot. Their grandpa showed them how to shoot. And so they feel like they don't need this, or they have some preconceived notions when it comes to how to do things. So now's your chance. Just listen. Maybe I'm going to be repeating myself. But you know what? This might be new information. And over time, right, these modern techniques and different, the fundamentals change a little bit. Or maybe I'm just explaining it a little different. So as we go into this training series, always a good mindset to have is just to have an open mind and be willing to listen, be willing to try, and understand that as we go and we talk about these different things, what is it? It's different tools in your toolbox per se, right? And it's something that you can draw upon. And once you get all the tools, you get a bunch of tools in there, a bunch of ways of doing things. I'm not going to say one way is exactly wrong or one way is exactly right, because people are always developing new techniques, new ways to grip, new pressures to put on the gun, all that stuff. Right? Once you have those in your toolbox, you can draw from that and create a system that works for you. I've been doing this long enough that I understand that we are all very individual people, right? And we're not going to do stuff exactly the same. But it's good to listen. It's good to learn. Now, as you continue to train, sometimes I see this when someone new comes to me to shoot. It's to start shooting, and I see them start to train, start to practice, start to learn, right? They want to go really fast, really quick. And I'm here to tell you that's not necessarily the way to go, especially when it comes to shooting, right? You've got to do what? You've got to crawl before you can walk and walk before you can run type of thing. Sometimes you have to go slow to go fast. You have to go slow, and you have to develop that muscle memory that is needed to shoot. Shooting actually isn't, I want to say it really isn't that hard. And it's not that hard in concept, I guess. And what you need to understand is shooting is nothing but muscle memory. Mag change is nothing but muscle memory. Drawing from a holster is nothing but muscle memory. Pressing the trigger, that's nothing but muscle memory. But what is muscle memory? Muscle memory is doing the same thing, the correct thing, over and over and over and over again. And then once you get that down, it's learning how to do that same thing, but do it faster on a faster paced system, right? And then that's literally all shooting is. But it's really hard sometimes to get people to slow down and learn that. Some people have shot in the past and they have what we call training scars, right? They've learned how to do something incorrectly, and it can be a lot harder to overcome a training scar and make it go away than what some people realize. So you have to put in the time. You have to put in, the work. Shooting once you learn how to shoot, can kind of be a perishable skill. And if you don't use it, if you don't exercise it, it can go away. And then I won't say you have to completely start over again, but you do have to start over again to a certain extent. You have to, kind of rethink it. What did I used to do? Okay, let's get that muscle memory back. Muscle memory can fade. And it's not even, we could get into the depths of what is muscle memory. Muscle memory is not really a thing. They call it muscle memory. What muscle memory is your brain, when you learn and you do something over and over and over again, your brain creates what we call these neural pathways. And that's the way that you do it every single time. And you can create wrong neural pathways. And that would be what we call, if you want to call it muscle memory, bad muscle memory, the wrong way to do something. And you can create that. You can correct that. But it takes time and deliberance. And you have to deliberately want to go in and fix that. And you got to put in the time and you got to put in the effort. It's like going to the gym, right? You're not going to show up one day and come out just totally ripped. That's not the way that it works. You got to put in the time. You got to put in the effort. You got to build it up little by little by little by little. You build that wall one brick at a time. And that's essentially what training is, what it's like training when you're learning how to shoot. You always have to go, I talked about going too fast, right? You always have to run at the speed of your success. If you've ever taken a class from me or ever are able to come and take a class from me, you'll hear me talk about this all the time, especially in my permit classes, right? It's like, go to the speed of your success. Just because I've said, hey, you're going to go out there, I want you to do a controlled pair or a double tap if you, I just don't like that term, but if you want to do a double tap, bang, 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 right? And you need to repeat this on like 3 different targets. You go to the speed of your success. Some people are going to be faster. Some people are going to be slower. And you don't want to go, I say speed of your success, because if you go faster than what you're able to, you're going to mess it all up. And then what are you learning? Nothing. You're back to slapping the trigger. You're back to making those mistakes. You're back to creating training scars and bad muscle memory. So you want to go to the speed of your success. If you continually go 100 miles an hour and you're only ready to go 30, you're never going to learn anything except for how to do it wrong the entire time through. So training is this thing. When you go out and you train and you learn, it's a building process, right? It is a building process. Yeah, you said step 1, step 2, step 3, and you learn one fundamental, then you learn another fundamental, then you learn another fundamental. But you don't forget and not use those fundamentals that you've started, that you've learned at the very beginning, because they all build up and they work together to create that accurate shot or to create that system. Once you learn those fundamentals, then you learn how to put them all together and speed up. And once you can do that, then you add the draw stroke. How do I draw my gun? Okay, so you kind of start over with that. You learn how to draw your gun. You learn how to drive it out. You learn how to get on target, right? Once you can do that successfully and safely, then you're like, okay, let's take some shots. Let's draw and fire. Well, hopefully you've remembered how to do what? How to press that trigger. right? How to get that good solid trigger press. Hopefully you remembered how to get that good grip. So you're still drawing that gun from the holster, but you're getting that good grip. You're driving it out. You're acquiring the sights, which is a fundamental. Acquiring those sights, and you're giving a good solid trigger press, which is another fundamental. Do you see what I'm saying? It builds. It totally builds. And what you have to do is when you start learning these, right, you always got to push yourself a little bit. Now, I said you don't want to, you need to go to the speed of your success. You don't want to go too fast. But you can also be too careful. So when you're training, you've got to build and you've got to push yourself toward the edge of that cliff, right? Imagine you're standing on the edge of a cliff and you move a little bit closer, a little bit closer, a little bit closer, a little bit closer to the edge, and eventually you fall off, right? Well, you went too far, right? You went too far. And you do that with training. You build and you go a little bit quicker, add something else a little bit quicker, and pretty soon you're going to fail. You're going to pull a shot. You're going to start flinching again, or you're going to do what? Or you're going to forget something. So you learn the fundamentals. You start drawing. You start drawing, driving, taking that shot. Draw, drive, take the shot. Draw, drive. All of a sudden you're drawing and your grip's messed up. You're not getting that good solid grip. You added more to it. You started going a little faster, and something's out of sync here, right? You fell off. You're not getting that good grip. You have pushed like you're supposed to, and then you've fallen off that cliff. So what do? Well, we know that is the edge of the cliff right there, right? That is the edge of the cliff. We know we need to, I won't say pause right there, but we need to kind of tread water right there, figure out what we need to fix and the cause of it. Why is that grip being messed up or whatever it is? And you need to kind of back away from the cliff just a little bit. You need to solidify that. You need to drive that home. You need to train. You need to practice it. You need to get that movement or that fundamental solid again with the draw, and then you can do what? You can start pushing some more. You can start moving some more toward the edge of that cliff, and you're going to get a little further than you originally did before you had to stop and back up just a little bit. You're going to get a little further. You're taking little bites of it, little steps closer. You're going to get a little closer without falling off. And eventually you're going to do what? Eventually you're going to fall off again. And that's okay. That's how we know where we need to train, right? You fall off, you get back, you back off just a smidge. Train, practice, drive all these fundamentals home, learn them, create those neural pathways or muscle memory, I guess if that's what you want to call it, and then you push a little further and you get a little further. And essentially you're getting a little bit better, a little bit better, a little bit better. It's just like with going to the gym and lifting weights, right? You're going to lift, you're going to ease into it, right? You're going to lift, you're going to increase your weight. You're going to increase your weight. Oh, look, I can do 10 reps of those. I'm going to hang out here for a minute, drive that home, and then I'm going to, for maybe a week or a few days or whatever it is, whatever your schedule is like when it comes to lifting weights in the gym, and you're going to push a little further. Eventually, you're going to grab a weight and you're going to go, oh my God, I can only get up 3 reps. Okay, guess I need to stay here. I need to pause right here for just a little bit. I need to grow those muscles. I need to this is going to be my new weight, right? And then you're going to push again, and all of a sudden you're going to be able to pick up those dumbbells, and you're going to be able to rep out like 10 or 12 reps or whatever it is you have set up for yourself, and you're going to go, bam, this is where I need to be training now. So then you're going to start training there. See how it works? You always push toward the edge of that cliff until you fall off. Then you get back up, you got a new spot, you train right there till you can push past that, and then till you fall off again. I mean, it's really not that difficult of a concept. But what does it take? It takes dedication. It takes just doing it, right? You need to go into it. You need to go into it with a good attitude, and you need to continually train. So lately here, weather's not been too bad, but we've had some windy, cold days, right? So what do? So I have scheduled all my training and even my dry fire stuff, right? And when I say training, I'm talking about my physical training, going to the gym, running, and I even schedule my dry fire. This is what I need to do for dry fire today. This is how many draw reps I need to do with my gun. Like, it is on my phone. I posted a picture on my Facebook page, on the social media pages, of my On my calendar, I've got this stuff scheduled out all year long because I know me and I know my not limitations, but I know my downfalls. And I never thought I'd be this kind of person. But if I write it down, every day for my business, I always kind of have to look at the week, especially on Sundays, see what I got going, what I got any classes scheduled, who do I need to call back, what do I have any meetings, that kind of thing, right? And then I do that at the beginning of the week, but I also every day will pull it up and go, okay, I need to do this, 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 and this. And if it's on my calendar, I will do it. I will attack it like clockwork. I'll go, I need to do this, I need to do that, I need to do this. Right? And I will schedule that in and around my other appointments, classes, you name it. Because I know myself. And if I don't write this stuff down, it will not get done. I just won't do it. Like, I never thought I'd be a list person or a scheduled person, but running my own business has made it so I have to be. So maybe that's what kind of personality, or maybe that would work for you. I don't know. It's just kind of what I do. So it's something to look at. It's something to work on just a little bit. But yeah, I even do that simple stuff like the dry fire. Like dry fire will take me like 10 minutes. 10 minutes. That is it. And then I'll practice my draw, right? And I'll do that for, I forget what I've got it set up for. I think I actually took a tip from I've always practiced my draw, but sometimes you get to where you're like, I just want to get this done and I want to move on. You can't have that attitude. You have to practice it. You have to get good, solid repetitions. You don't want to end on crap, okay? Good, solid draws, good, solid repetitions. And so that's what I strive for. When it's nice out, I go out and shoot. Now, I'm not going to get into the drills and stuff I do right now while I'm getting at what, we're going to get into that later on. I don't want to just kind of get in the weeds here. I really want these training series podcasts to be dedicated to like one topic at a time. And I think, I don't want to overwhelm someone if you're kind of new. But, that's the training philosophy, right? And you want to go out and you want to work hard and you want to expect the best and you don't want to settle for less. Like you want to develop good habits, good muscle memory, good neural pathways. You want to take your time. You want to do it right. And you want to keep doing it. So many people will come and take a permit class from me. Maybe they're brand new to shooting. They want to carry that gun on themselves every day. And I guarantee you they load it up. Once they get the permit, they load it up, they put it in their holster, and they carry that gun, and they don't touch it again for a long time. I've had people take beginner's classes from me. Take a beginner's class. Then they call me a year later. And they're like, hey, I need another refresher class. Well, why do you need a refresher class? I'll give you, I'll happily charge you for a refresher class. But in all honesty, you should have gone out shooting. You should have gone out and trained. I do men's and women's shooting academies every year, right? And I tell my students, you're going to get out of this class what you want. You're here twice a month for a couple hours, sometimes longer. You're going to shoot whatever. I tell them they should bring at least 50 rounds. Okay, at least 50 rounds to shoot. If they want to bring more, that's great. That's great. You're going to get out of this class what you want to, what you put into this class. Just because you're showing up here, this is what I tell them, just because you're showing up here twice a month to shoot doesn't mean that you shouldn't go out and train. You shouldn't practice. You shouldn't go out and shoot on your own with your family and put into play those things that you've learned in class, right? And you can do lots of the stuff at home, like I've just talked about dry fire. I just talked about dry draw. Get in those repetitions at home. It's cheap. It's all it costs you is a little bit of time, and honestly, very little time. Okay, very little time. But you have to continue to work. You have to continue to strive to get better. I look at my son. My son, he's 11 years old. He's into Taekwondo, right? I can come up with all kinds of stories and metaphors and everything for you, but I'll just, this will be the last one. My son is at Taekwondo to pass. I'm not, I don't know the ins and outs of Taekwondo, but he's got to learn these forms and these one steps and all this other stuff for each belt before he moves on. And if he goes to class twice a week, but they don't always work on the forms. They don't always work on the one steps. They work on kicks and other different type of activities, related to taekwondo, but they don't always work on the forms for those belts. And then after, I think it's about 3 months or so, every 3 months or so, it'll be time to test. And they'll start focusing more on the forms and stuff, but it's up to the kids to do what? To go out and practice that stuff on their own so they can proceed to the next belt. That is the way they need to do this. That is that they have to go out. They have to show that gumption, show that initiative, and they got to work on it on their own. And that's the same way it is with shooting, right? I love it. Very, very rarely it happens, but I get people that will take a beginner's class. Then and they'll sign up for like one class a month. And they'll take a class, they'll work on stuff, they'll play with it, they'll improve on it, they'll come back and want another class on something else. Let's move forward, right? Those are absolutely amazing classes. We have a great time doing those. And I see true growth because they're putting in the time, they're putting in the effort. And if you're going to carry a gun on your person, you have to do that. You have to put in that time and that effort. Just buying that gun, it's like people think it's a magic talisman. They could just go pick up a gun, buy a gun, and bam, they're going to be safe. That's not the way it works, folks. You have to put in the time. You have to put in the effort. You have to practice it. You have to carry. You have to learn how to draw and shoot on them. All that stuff is going to make you successful if you ever have to use that gun to defend your life, right? And that is, in my eyes, that's the ultimate goal. You want to be successful if you have to defend your life or the life of your loved ones. And that's the whole point behind any of this. Put in the time. Put in the effort. That is going to be it for today. That is my training philosophy. And I could go on and on and on and just keep repeating myself because it's something I'm kind of passionate about. Continue to train. Continue to get better. Push yourself. If you like this podcast, that's fantastic. And I love that. Share it with your family. Share it with your friends. And know that I will be doing another one of these episodes, these training series, on the next Monday. So a week from today. Now, in between then and there, I have other podcasts on Wednesdays, which is the Welcome to Guns series if you're new to guns. And then I do my main podcast on the weekends. That's either on a Saturday or Sunday. Kind of depends on what I got rolling. What I got scheduled. So that one's kind of up in the air for those 2 days, but it will come out on the weekends. So if you like that, listen to all of them. But share this with your family. Share it with your friends. It is free. It is free. Just have them subscribe. It helps me out a bunch. Again, I'm trying to take this podcast a little more serious this year. Hasn't made me a dime yet, and that's okay. But I want to get out there. I want to talk to people. I want to help the people. I want to make my presence a little more known. So there you go. I tell you what. You guys have a great week, and I will see you here next Monday. Bye.